Hey, good morning, everybody. John here with FMP Wargamers, and this is our FMP morning show. I'm hoping that you, as I adjust my camera here, I'm hoping you all are faring well during this. Would this be a crisis? I would say probably fall under a crisis. Um, yeah, I would say crisis. This pandemic, the COVID-19. Is it COVID-19 or is it Corvid? I hear people, I think people are just kind of getting things mixed up. I'm pretty sure it's COVID. Yeah, it's COVID-19. Keep people hearing people say Corvid, Corvus, like Corvus 19, like you're being attacked by a flock of crows or ravens. That would probably be like a murder because that's a flock of ravens or crows. So probably a murder 19. I don't know. I'm going off the deep end there, but anyways, you know what's going on in gaming news, and as this stuff continues to happen, I'm going to keep bringing you guys news about any other shutdowns or special deals that are going on right now. Now, we are having some difficulties here at my little home studio. I have run out of coffee, and so that is a crisis. Uh, but I've got these lovely bangs. I'm not sure if I'm going to get in trouble for posting that up on there. I am not sponsoring them, not sponsored by them. I'm not benefiting in any way financially from them, but that's all I have energy drink wise with no coffee. So, uh, anyways, wasn't planning on doing a show this morning. Well, I told you guys last night that actually I was probably going to be doing a show this morning or yesterday. Tonight, before I get into all the news and some special deals that you might be able to take advantage of tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time. So I think that is 9 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Or no, not 10 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific, maybe. I think they're 2 hours behind. Maybe. We're going to be doing a live show for a review of the, excuse me, Tales from the Loop RPG from Free League, and we're going to be watching the preview trailer for that TV show that's coming out on his Amazon Prime next month. It was a stealth release. I've talked about it since last week. I've talked about it the past couple days, so I just want to make sure you guys understand. We're going to do a full review of that tonight, watch the preview, and kind of get jazzed up about this TV show, especially with all this global shutdown of everything, pretty much, except for those key essential businesses and such. This is a great time to not only watch alternate shows. Good morning, Nam. Watch alternate shows that you would normally not watch, but start branching out into other game systems. So, especially those of you that are already knee deep in RPGs, and you've always been playing, say, World of Darkness or Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, and you guys do the same thing over and over again with just different characters. Maybe step out of your comfort zone and try one of these exciting new RPGs that really push your your creative abilities, creative talents, and storytelling and character creation in a totally different direction. And if you do that, I can pretty much guarantee you, when you come back to your favorite game, you are going to have a new, fresher perspective when you make new characters and play. So, just something to talk about. So today, this morning, we're going to cover, of course, Games Workshop news. We're going to cover some RPG stuff, some Asmodee stuff that relates mainly to, well, anything Asmodee related, which today specifically I'm going to be talking about Marvel Crisis Protocol. And we're going to talk a little bit more about not just Asmodee's version of stuff going on with Marvel Crisis Protocol, but we're also going to talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol itself. So bear with me. Sit down, enjoy hopefully enjoy the show. So today, I'm not going to go over too much of the Games Workshop stuff, just because, you know what? There's other game news out there. The only thing I can tell you today is that they've updated some stuff about the Blackstone Fortress and the return of the Zote. One thing I want to say is, by them putting the Zote out there, the Zote. Some people have already assumed that, hey, we've got the Zote. That means there's a new faction coming. That's the new race. That's new whatever coming. No, it doesn't. I hate to tell you, but just because there's something new in there does not necessarily mean that we're going to see that faction pop up in Warhammer 40,000 or Age of Sigmar, just because it shows up in these small side games. In a way, and I want you guys to really think about this, is a chance for them to kind of bring back these old creatures like the Zote or the Squats or whatever, without going back to the full miniature line and doing these full projects. It's a way for them to hold on to that license, hold on to that IP, because they just revitalized it and relaunched it, and essentially renewing their patent or their IP, their intellectual property protections on it. So by them doing that, they've extended it for X amount of years more. So, that doesn't mean that we might not see this stuff in the future, but right now it is just a sign of them going, hey guys, we're experiencing a kind of a renaissance right now with people, us bringing back and renewing a lot of those older models, those older ideas, concepts that we had. And we're just going to put them out there, just have some fun, because we're doing so well. And we got games like Blackstone Fortress where we can inject these one-offs like the Zote or the Man of Iron, the robot. We can inject those bits of lore that we want to keep a hold of, because we might want to use 10 years down the line. We're going to inject them into the game because it's a little bit of nostalgia. It gets the old crowd in, and it gets the new crowd in because there's new stuff going on, and they cross-platform it with 40K rules, everything. It's just a good way for them to hold on to the property and kind of breathe a little bit of new life into. Not that Blackstone Fortress necessarily needs new life breathed into it, but it's a way just to kind of keep it fresh, keep it hot. So by them putting that in there, it's actually a very smart thing business-wise. So please don't instantly think that just because Zote's popped up and whatever their keyword faction is means that we're going to see a new faction right around the corner. The only other thing I'm going to show right now is they have another one of their little saga of hobbyists. I'm not going to dwell too much on this, but they do kind of do a nice breakdown of the models, the dynamic posing, what they think about the models, and some interesting color schemes. I would not necessarily have gone with some of these color schemes, this bright blue and yellow, but it works. It's a wonderful blend of colors. It works. I would have probably gone for something a little grimmer, a little darker, but it's actually really good. I like it, and it's really eye-popping. So just something to take a look at. Read up on kind of their thought process behind everything, and maybe it'll give you a new perspective. All right. So let's actually get on to the rest of the news today after I take a drink. All right. Asmodee. Asmodee's been doing a lot of stuff lately. They've cut off Alliance Games distribution as their main distributor. They've gone over to ACDD. I cannot remember what ACDD stands for, but they're out of the Northwest. So their distribution, I think, is out of the Northwest. So where, at least here in Texas, where Alliance, you can get a 1-day shipping. Now you're looking at about a 4-day shipping for anything coming out of ACDD. Or you can now directly order from Asmodee itself. They basically have a subcontract with ACDD to kind of help with the load. But Asmodee is essentially becoming their own distributor. So that's saves money, and you actually get a better, at least your small business. If you're one of the friendly local game stores out there, this actually helps you because you are actually getting a better discount from them instead of going through like Alliance or Diamond or whoever it is that you get your product from. Asmodee, Fantasy Flight Games, Atomic Mass Games, which we're going to be talking about a lot more today. So, anyways, so because of everything, it finally has hit everything that's going on. It finally has hit Asmodee, and they have, for health and safety reasons, and of course, following guidelines from local and federal government, they have shut down, which is actually very good. Any of the people at home are able to work from home. I don't know what that'll mean for some of the studios, but from what it sounds like, FFG, Fantasy Flight Games, has sent everybody home, which is not a big surprise. They have already been letting departments go, firing people, or terminating their contract, whatever. So it's not a big surprise that FFG has pretty much sent everybody home. It's maybe a boon to them because they're about ready to save probably a good a month's worth of salary. I'm not sure how all that'll work out. Now, the other thing Asmodee has done is they have shut down their warehouses. So I'm not sorry, not shut down the warehouses. It says at this time, our warehouses remain open to help service any store that is able to continue business. However, they have decided to delay new releases. That's what I meant to say, until May 1st, 2020. So pretty much all the rest of your March releases, which I believe was Gamora and Nebula for Marvel Crisis Protocol, those two, that model set, and whatever was going to come in April, which sounded like it was going to be the first wave of the Black Order. I think we're going to get Corvus Blade and Nebula, or Proxima Midnight, whatever her name is. And then I think we're going to get the other two. I cannot remember their names, but the little wizardy guy and the big monster guy that got his arm cut off in the Infinity War movie. So those are probably not going to be hitting in May. So we're getting pushed back a month, which kind of, I mean, not going to be released in April. We're going to have to wait till May. So it's that sucks that we have to wait, but it's understandable because safety first, right? We want to stop the spread of the virus. We don't want our employees for these different companies to get sick. And of course, we don't want them to die or spread the disease even more, or virus. And we don't want, sounds kind of maybe selfish or childish. I'm not sure how this sounds, but we also don't want our the creators of these games to get sick and die off, or the sculptors, because then we don't get our really awesome products. So I am okay with them shutting down. It sucks, but hey, this is real world and first world troubles. We're just have to deal, guys. But I want you guys to be aware of that. Now there are some companies out there that are not taking advantage of the situation, but are trying to make the best of the situation. We're going to get into one of them in just a moment. One I did not pull up, but Warlord Games. So if you play, say, Bolt Action, I think it's Dead Zone or Dread Zone, or Gates of Antilles, or any, there's another, not Saga, but there's another one I can't think of that they do. It's kind of a medieval game. They are having a bunch of sales and specials. You know what? While I'm blabbering about this, let's just type in Warlord Games and just pull them up so we can see what kind of deals they got going on. We'll look at this together. Supposedly, get off there. So supposedly they have some deals going on. Let me see if I can find their news section. I was reading about it today in an email. I don't want to pull up my email. There we go. I was just talking about fulfilling things. From what I understand, though, I don't want to delve too much on this page and sit there. Maybe it's under special offers. I don't want to get too much into this, but supposedly they are having a bunch of sales going on right now for their product. Looks like right here, they're having that's probably close to 30% off on some of these deals. If you are a fan of Warlord Games and any of their products, any of their Black Powder games, any of their Bolt Action, or anything like that. So something to think about. You're going to be seeing that a lot. I find it funny that was it 2 days ago I was talking about, hey, a lot of people are moving over to Tabletop Simulator to get their tabletop gaming done. There was also talk about people from the various ITC, the frontline games. If you're familiar with here, at least here in the U.S. or North America, ITC championships. They've actually been establishing these games. I don't know if they're going to be considered proof. I mean, they're going to be considered legal for BCP games. I think they've actually suspended BCP games for a period of time because of everything that's going on. But I just wanted you guys to know that a lot of people are out there using Tabletop Simulator to get their games in and practice. And it's not just Warhammer 40,000. They're doing Age of Sigmar, Underworlds. I don't know about any other games. I've just seen those 3 games being played. And even the top competitors out there, at least in 40K, which, the meta shifts a lot. So, somebody that was really good a couple years ago, now they might not be so good. They won really well back in the day. Now they're kind of like not the top players, but and they got new top players. So everybody's pretty much getting in on this Tabletop Simulator, especially here in Texas. And it's an opportunity for you guys to play your games. And even after all this is over, it is a way for you to interact with people around the world and test out your game theories, your ideas for your army lists, your tactics, all that kind of thing. It is an excellent opportunity. You don't have to leave home. I know you have to spend $20 on it, but $20 for Tabletop Simulator for what you're getting is actually a steal. Let me see what Nam is saying. Nam says, I remember playing X-Wing on Tabletop Simulator. It's a bit clunky, but works pretty good. He hasn't tried the Warhammer games, but I heard someone create a mod so you can play Marvel Crisis Protocol on it. I'm going to have to look into it. Thank you, Nam. I'm going to look into that later on today. That is very interesting. Be a good way to get some practice games in. Interesting. Anyways, I'm going to recommend that you guys jump on Steam, give it a look, and download it. I mean, it's $20, and it is not just for this pandemic and the stay-at-home order that everybody's pretty much getting. I think we're just shy of it being a nationwide stay-at-home order. But even after this is over, it is a good tool in your toolbox. You might not always use it, but a time can come up like, you know what, I don't want to spend $1,000 on this army. So let's put this army list together and let's jump on Tabletop Simulator and give it a try to see if I like it. Or, hey, I don't know if I want the Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So if Nam's saying that there's a mod available, I'm going to go play that mod. And if I enjoy it, if it is fun playing the Guardians of the Galaxy, then you know what? Now I'm sold. I'm going to go buy the miniatures, or any of the miniatures. If you're not sure about having the Wakandans or the Asgardians, that this is your way to test it out. So if you're not sure if you want that Death Army, or if you want Gloomspite Gits or Slaves to Darkness from Age of Sigmar, or Space Marines or Harlequins in Warhammer 40,000, this is your opportunity to give it a try. Just something I'm going to strongly suggest that you guys delve into. It is like I said, it's a great tool for your toolbox. It's not going to replace the fun, the feel of actually sitting down and playing the game in person and building and painting the models, but it's an opportunity for you to test things out, to see if it is something that you want to get involved in. So, and invest in. So let's talk about a couple things real quick here. As usual, I try to pass on freebies or any big deals that are going on over at MIDIfeeisnet. They have a special right now. I'm going to put it in the description on YouTube. It'll be down in the description bar. I'll try to get it on the description for the Twitch channel. Actually, I'll put it in the feed here. Since this crisis is going on, with the COVID-19, they are not shipping out physical products. However, their PDFs and 3D I think STL files are available still. And in regards to PDFs, I'm not sure about the 3D files, but at least the PDFs. If for a very limited time, I should have paid attention to the email a little bit more. If you purchase a book, one of these PDFs, you can get 10% off by using, I don't know if it's supposed to be all caps, but I'm going to put here MIDIfeeisnet. How do I spell it? MIDIfeeisnet. 10% off. Type together in the coupon window. All right, so off a single, sorry, I'm trying to do all this at the same time here, off a single PDF. Let's see here. Let me finish typing this and I'll spit this all out at the same time. I apologize, ladies and gents. Multiple times. All right, there. I typed it up. This is the first one. So go to MIDIfeeisnet, look through their huge catalog of RPGs. Everything from Vampire the Masquerade, the 5th edition, which is probably, it is a continuation of the storyline, by the way. It is probably the most brutal and definitely adult-themed RPG out there. So if you used to play Vampire back in the day, whether it's the live action or the tabletop or both, you maybe played the miniature game or the video games, this is the continuation of all that. And it is absolutely, I don't feel comfortable because you play a vampire in this and you play a vampire. We're not talking like Twilight sparkly vampires. We're talking, well, you know how vampires are. So not the happy vampires. And it's definitely a very brutal game. Anyways, you got games like that. They just released Dishonored. I'm not very familiar, except the fact that it was a video game. I'm actually wanting to read what this is like. They have Star Trek, John Carter of Mars, Fallout, Infinity, if you play the Infinity Miniatures game, Conan the Barbarian, and gosh, man, so many more. I think I already said, I'm not sure if I said Star Trek or not, but Star Trek, and you can play any of the different eras of Star Trek, by the way. So anyways, they got all these PDFs available, and you can use this coupon together multiple times. All you have to do is type 10%, or not type 10%. You get 10% off if you buy an individual one, and you just type in together in the coupon window. Now, if you want to get a whole bunch of these PDFs, if you spend up, you'll have to check the conversion rate. But if you spend up to 50 British pounds, whatever it is, GBP, whatever. Anyways, 50 pounds. You can type in PDF me to get 40% off that entire purchase. So essentially, you go from paying what you would have paid, say, 50 pounds for, you're paying 30 pounds for now. So I'll get that typed up here in just a, actually, I'll just copy and paste, and we'll just move some stuff around. So if you want a whole bunch of these, it is an opportunity for you to get multiples of this. PDF me, if you spend up to 50 on PFRPGs. There we go. Hopefully that makes sense. MIDIfeeisnet, 40% off. You type PDF me if you spend up to 50 pounds on PDF RPGs, and you type it in the coupon window. Oops. Crap. Let me redo that. Take off that single stuff there at the end. But it's just an opportunity, guys. I want you guys to be able to get some inexpensive deals, especially if you've been thinking about playing RPGs. Tales from the Loop is on there. So we're going to be covering that later on tonight. Symborum, if you want to play a dark fantasy game that is very brutal. If you like playing, what's that video game? Dark Souls. Symborum is very much like Dark Souls. It is very brutal, very lethal to player characters. I talked about that before. We'll do a review in the future. At any rate, I wanted you guys to have an opportunity to get that free, or not free, but get that excellent discount off there. And when I say they've got a host of games, Mutant Year Zero, Luminal, Corellius, so many different games out there that you have access to, and they're all PDFs, so you don't have to wait for them to arrive. In the case of Dishonored, let me back up here. In the case of Dishonored, they're actually giving you, if you buy the PDF, you are actually going to also get a discount code for the physical copy. Oh, it's okay, Epion. I'm just rambling on about some specials and deals. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with the Dishonored game system, but this RPG just dropped, and MIDIfeeisnet, they don't drop the ball when it comes to RPGs. I've not seen a bad one yet. You also, but if you buy this this PDF, of course you're going to be able to sit down and start playing the game right away, or once you get your group assembled. Just make sure you pay attention to social distancing and all that stuff. You'll get a discount code for the full value of the PDF, which can be offset against the future purchase of the Dishonored print core rulebook. So you'll be able to get that. Basically, you're going to get an extra discount on top of getting, if you want to get the physical copy, which I love getting physical copies over digital, but digital is great because I can take my iPad with me when I travel instead of carrying 20 books with me. So anyways, something to think about, ladies and gents, that if you have been looking into getting involved in RPGs, this is an excellent opportunity for you to be able to do it. MIDIfeeisnet has got, I would say well over 100 RPGs available. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy. It's an excellent opportunity for you to get a discount in this time of need, and it helps out the company. They're always doing us a favor. I mean, we're probably going to buy the product anyways, but it's just a great chance to save some money. All right, so let's talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'm going to real quick go back. I want to see if Games Workshop updated anything on their page. Nope. So Marvel Crisis Protocol. As I just was talking about, FFG, Fantasy Flight Games, and Atomic Mass Games through Asmodee. Both of them go through Asmodee. Asmodee is, even though they're still shipping stuff out of their warehouses, there will be no new releases until May 1st, 2020. So any of the other releases that were scheduled for March all the way through April have been suspended until May 1st. How that's going to work out after they're able to put those new releases out, are they just going to push it back a month? Are they going to dump everything at once? Don't know what's going to happen. We just got to sit by and wait and see how this is going to play out. Unfortunately, that's just the type of situation we're in right now, and we can't do anything about it. So Gamora and Nebula will not be out this month. The Black Order will not be out next month. If they were rumored to be coming out next month, and if I remember the trade magazine said they were coming out next month. So we're gonna be at least a month and a half behind. Star Wars Legion was supposed to get some things. The X-Wing, I know, had one or two new fighters that were coming out, or planes or jets or spaceships, whatever they're called, starships. Sorry, they're going to be delayed too. So just so you're paying attention to the updated news. One thing I want to talk about, you've heard me talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol many times, and I've talked about how this game is set up for competitive play, not just casual play. And I'll back up here so you can see all the characters that they have available or are about ready to come out. They actually have their official packet for running what they call the Crisis event. This is essentially their tournament format. How you win, the setup, how tokens are, how everything is done. Especially if you're running an official event. Now, if you're not running an official event, you can probably get by with using proxy models or proxy cards, but you know what? You should really be just purchasing the models. They're not that expensive. It's not an expensive game to get into unless you want to buy everything. And even then, compared to other games, it is most certainly not an expensive buy-in. So anyways, they have everything in there for how to build your rosters, sportsmanship. This thing that here they call missed opportunities is that sometimes as gamers, even we're playing a casual game or a tournament or whatever, we forget things. We forget, oh my God, I forgot to move this. Can I go back and move this? The sportsmanship thing is to say, yeah, go ahead. However, they strongly recommend that that you don't do that. That at least without the consent of the other player, and it's still up to them. But it's just one of those things that you made the mistake, and if your opponent's going to capitalize on it, I mean that's really on you as the player. You need to pretty much be better. Now, what they are hinting at is that as players, we should not be abusing that. So don't be, as they're saying, don't intentionally distract your opponent or rush your opponent in an effort to get them to have a missed opportunity. We have actually seen that in Warhammer 40,000 tournaments. I cannot say so for Age of Sigmar, but I would say it's very likely. It's very definitely probable, and it's definitely possible. Not I don't want to say that because that's probably inappropriate for the being online or on the air. But there's some things that you can correlate, and not causation correlation, but definitely correlate. So I'm not going to go too much into that. But anyways, they talk about sportsmanship, unsportsmanship-like conduct, what what they expect of the event organizer, just what you would expect from somebody running a tournament, and what you're going to expect to get in the tournament. On top of, if they have the tournament kit, how those tokens and everything are distributed on top of any other prize support you're going to be doing. So I really recommend you give this game a try. I'm going to back up here, so I want you to see their website is really well put together. Organized play, assembly guide for the miniatures, rules, up-to-date news, because the rules are free. I don't know if I've told you that many times. But let's go to the gallery. I want you guys to see the number of characters. Now, this game allows you, you're going to be running 4 to 5 characters, I think, and Nam can probably correct me. I think on average, we've seen, I want to say 5 characters, but 4 characters, there's a possibility you can get up to 6 characters. But that's very rare on your when you're playing the actual game. You build a roster of 10 models, and then once both you and your opponent have your 10 models set up, that's when you sit there and pick your actual your team for that scenario from that 10. So really interesting, really cool. Anyways, so here first, these first 10 models all come. He uses mostly 4 or 5 models. So yeah, you're looking at 4 to 5 models on average. So your first 10 models here come in the box set, and then let me count all these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 28, 29, 30 models right now are available. So that's 30 models. I'm not sure what the math is on the different combinations. But that many possible combinations of 4 to 5 models. I'll let you guys, you math guys, figure out how many possible combinations that is on a 4-man team or a 5-man team. Anyways, the first 10 is what comes in the box, and then everything else, like Hulk and MODOK, are separate boxes each. Some of these are dual boxes, dual team boxes, like all the Wakandans are 2 to a box. Venom is separate, and then all the Asgardians are 2 to a box. And pretty much everything else except for Star-Lord is 2 to a box. Now, each of these models there's different teams. There's like the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, the Cabal, the Asgardians. I think that's it for right now. Those 4 teams, and if you build everything around your team, you are actually going to get some team bonuses. You don't have to fill out the full roster, just Wakandans, thank you. 51% of your total models has to be from that team. So if I have a 5-man roster, 3 of my models have to be from the Avengers. An interesting note is somebody like the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. He can count as that extra member of the team. And it doesn't matter which team. He could be the Cabal, the Wakandans, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, or the Asgardians. He can fit that role anywhere. So he is definitely an interesting extra component to add to virtually any, well, actually not even virtually, to any of the different teams. And those teams, the team leader provides a bonus for everybody else. There are special team cards on top of generic unaligned cards that you can use to boost your characters during the game. So it's really a wonderful setup and very diverse. I mean, like I said, you got 30 characters here with either a 4-man team or 5-man teams. So that's a lot of possible combinations. Once again, one of these days I went to figure out how to do that math. I had somebody else figure out the math for when I did Ultramodern 5 review the other day or last week. Somebody did the math for me, and we had at least, without including another dynamic or another multiple or whatever, we had 35,000 possible, or 34,954, something like that, possible combinations for making characters. So we're probably not going to have that many for this, but there's probably several hundred, maybe we're probably at around between 6 and 900 possible combinations with Marvel Crisis Protocol. So you can blend heroes and villains together. You are not restricted from like that. Just like the comic books, heroes and villains do team up from time to time. Sometimes a hero becomes a heel. Sometimes a villain is redeemed and becomes a good guy. So there's so many different possibilities that you can have here, and it's really a delight. And you get some really cool, interesting combos to be able to pull off. We've seen some great ones for like Valkyrie and the Hulk, or somebody was telling me the other day, we talked about it on air, using Hulk and crossbones, and he used the ability for the Hulk to throw crossbones across the board and get him closer, because crossbones has a very short movement. So he threw him across the board, and the next turn activated him and just started whooping the crap out of people, out of his opponent's models. That was one of the strategies that helped win him the game. So you can do stuff like that. Another good combination is probably Valkyrie and the Hulk. Anyways, so there's all sorts of things that you can be doing, and terrain is definitely something you can interact with. You can throw people into it. You can throw terrain. You can destroy terrain. Nam did the math. Thank you, Nam. For 4-man teams, Nam says there's 27,405 4-man teams possible. And 142,506 5-man teams. He used an online calculator to figure that. That is a lot. Is that right? Holy crap. That's a lot of team combinations, guys. That is a lot, guys and gals. Well, guys is a gender neutral reference. So guys, not guy, but guys. That is a lot of possible combination. I mean, I was thinking around 600 to 900 possible combinations, but anywhere from 27,000 to 142,000 possible combinations for this game. And that's not even taking into account putting in the Infinity Stones, which act as take the spot of a character in your 10-man roster, and does not take into account any of the team or unaligned or unaffiliated action cards you can play. You can get up to 5 cards, play 5 cards in each game, and I don't remember how many cards there are. I want to say there's probably about 30 different cards out there, and so that even just makes that exponentially bigger. So if you were thinking that this game is not very diverse, it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. Oh, thanks. Nam put up that calculator. I'm going to save that calculator. Thank you, Nam. I'm going to save that because I'm going to be looking at doing stuff like that for future games. But if you were thinking that this game is very limited, that there wasn't a lot of possibilities with it, you're absolutely bonkers crazy wrong, because there are so many different scenarios, and this game is a play the scenario. Play the gosh darn scenario. If you want to do a beat 'em up, you can do that. But if you play the scenario, it makes it incredibly difficult, challenging to win the game. So it's not an easy game to play. I mean, it's easy to learn. It's not easy to win. So if you want a highly competitive game, definitely try Marvel Crisis Protocol. Easy price point to get into. You don't just get the main box. You're done. But if you want to expand, you have 20 other characters as of right now. We know that there's 2 more, the Dark Order or the Black Order. We know that Green Goblin, Taskmaster, Punisher, Spider-Gwen, or I guess she's Ghost Spider, Miles Morales, Kingpin, Carnage, Ronan the Accuser, Drax, so it's 11, Thanos, I don't think I said Thanos. So we've got 11, we got 12 more characters coming that we know of right now. So, and they've got the whole history, the whole roster of Marvel characters. That includes Fantastic Four, the X-Men, X-Factor, let's see, any of the other I'm trying to think of any other ones out there. West Coast, I mean, we're already talking about West Coast Avengers. All the unaligned characters that aren't part of teams are available. I mean, we still haven't seen Doctor Doom. Oh yeah, I forgot. So that was 12, 13, 14 characters, because we know Doctor Strange and Wong are coming. So we got 4, and the new Black Widow and Hawkeye. So 15 new characters are coming. Well, if you want to count the new Black Widow, 16 new characters. 16 more characters are coming. We're going to be at 46 gosh darn characters probably by the end of the year, and new terrain sets. And with each of those box sets, we get some new new action cards and new scenarios. So there's you guys just don't, maybe you're just not understanding the depth of this game and how big this game is. You might only be using a roster of 4 to 5 models, but when you can interact with the terrain, throw buildings at people or cars, when you can throw people, either in a good way or a bad way, when you can everything is interactable, as long as you're on the board. I mean, if you leave, you can't leave the board, but everything on there you can interact with, and it is absolutely probably one of the most in-depth, detailed games, miniature games out there. And when you toss in the scenario rules, everything in there, there's so many different combinations and permutations that I mean, it just blows my mind why more people have not jumped on. And but we've noticed that the crowds have gone from about 10 to 15 players. I think here in Houston, we're up to about 103 players right now for Marvel Crisis Protocol between all the different stores. And that's just counting the people that are on Facebook, not counting all the others. So we could probably at least count on 25% more. So this game is growing rapidly. And as you get more characters, it's getting better and better. So I've drone on about this long enough. Make sure that player base is slowly increasing. I have a feeling that once we get a couple more characters, we're already at 30. And with another 15, 16 more characters coming out by the end of the year, dude, 46 possible characters by the end of the year, plus new terrain sets are coming out. Psh, absolutely awesome. So if you guys are interested in MIDIfeeisnet, I've already put in there 10% off. You can, and the coupon part, if you want to buy just a single PDF and you can use this code multiple times, type together just do it in all caps. I don't know if that meant you had to be all caps, but I would do that. And then over, if you want to get multiple, spend £50 on the PDF RPGs. Type in PDF me and get 40% off that entire order. So that makes it actually £30. I want to thank my friend Ken for hitting me up with that email. Also, I wanted to point out that if you happen to get the Dishonored, if you're a fan of the Dishonored game series or the novels or comic books, probably all of that, they have the Dishonored game. If you buy it, you're going to get an additional code when you buy that PDF to get you a discount off of the physical copy when they're able to send those out. So just consider that. As Nam said, he wants Deadpool. I want Deadpool also. I want my favorite character, Havoc. And I would love for them to do Sentry. Sentry would probably be bonkers, crazy, awesome. He'd probably be one of those that has the multiplayer mode. That's the last thing I'll talk about with the game, is they have a multiplayer mode. Right now, all they have is Ultron Master of Metal, where one character plays Ultron, and then the other 2 or 3 or 4, however you want to break it out, has a total of a roster of 10 characters between the 2 of them. Or if you want to break that out into, maybe you have 5 players and each of you guys have 2 characters, however you want to figure the multiplayer part out, as long as there's just a roster of 10 characters. And you play in a scenario where everybody's against Ultron. And it looks like Thanos is going to be having that. There was talks that the Hulk was going to have that, a World War Hulk. And I really imagine if they put stuff out like Sentry, we're going to see Sentry. There was talks also that Hela from the Asgardians was going to have a Ultimate Encounter, a multiplayer mode. So there are other ways to play this game. It's not just a simple run the scenario. So I'm done running my mouth about this. I've once again gone on way too long. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time, we're going to watch the trailer for Tales from the Loop, and I'm going to do a full review of Tales from the Loop RPG, and strongly recommend, especially with that MIDIfeeisnet discount code up there right now, that you take this opportunity to buy that RPG. All right, I'm going to get going. You guys have yourself a wonderful day. I'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time. Have a good day. Thanks, Nam. Thanks, everyone.